I'm here today at the Triumph factory here in Hinckley. I've had the Triumph factory tour and it's been really good and very, very interesting. I'd very much recommend it. This is an amazing place, and if you get the chance to call in, I would highly recommend it, even if you're not booked on the factory tour. There is a free museum, an exhibition, there's a coffee shop and a merchandise shop too. I visited her earlier in the year and they even had an evening bike meeting, and the car park was just full of bikes and people of all shapes, and not just Triumphs, bikes of all shapes and sizes as well. It looked like there were thousands of people and thousands of motorcycles. It was a really good evening. It was amazing to see so many people coming because of their interest and enjoyment of motorcycling. And this reminded me of a story in the Bible, a story where so many people were interested in what Jesus had to say that they came to see him, and they crowded him out on at the shore side, where he had to get into a boat and go and sit just off the shore, where he was able to speak to the people as they lined the water's edge. He told a parable, which is like a metaphor, a story, which is a metaphor that had another meaning. And he talked about a farmer who sowed some seed, with the seed falling on different ground. Some of the seed, as the farmer scattered it, some of the seed fell on the hard ground and was eaten by birds. Some fell on rocks and were scorched by the sun. Some seed fell on good soil, but was choked by thorns. Yet some seed actually fell on good soil and produced a good crop. The story, being a parable, meant it had another meaning, and what Jesus was referring to was the seed being scattered was the way people respond when they hear the Bible, when they hear Bible stories about Jesus, when they hear the gospel, with the farmer sowing the gospel message. And if you think for a moment about how you might respond when you hear this message of the gospel of Jesus, how you might identify where the seed lands in your life. If you hear the gospel and it really doesn't mean much to you, and you're happy to go on living your life without it, then you're like the seed that has fallen on the hard ground and has been eaten by the birds. If you hear the gospel and you feel the joy that it brings, but it only lasts for a very short time before life returns to what it was before, then it's like the seed that has fallen on the rocks and has been scorched by the sun. If you hear the gospel and you feel the joy that it brings, and it lasts a little while before the worries of this life or the desires of your life, maybe desires for property or wealth, or maybe a bigger, faster, shinier motorcycle, takes over your desire to have the gospel in your life, then you're like the seed that has fallen amongst the thorns and it's been choked away. But thankfully some seed will fall on good ground and will produce a good crop, and as it takes hold. So if you hear the gospel, make sure that your seed is falling on good ground. Make sure that it can grow and reap the benefits that the gospel can bring. God bless and stay safe.